The Obama administration asks a federal judge in Texas to decide by Monday whether he will put his decision to block the White House executive order on immigration on hold, or if not, the administration says it will appeal. Welcome into America's Forum for this Friday morning. It's good to have you wherever you may be. With Miranda Kahn, I'm J.D. Hayworth.
The administration appealed directly to Judge Andrew Hanen, saying they want the ruling limited to Texas at the very least, since the judge has not pointed to damage the order will do any other state.
So, will this judge comply, and what impact might his decision have now that the Republican-controlled Congress has said, gee, the court is dealing with all of this? For more on this developing story, we're very pleased to be joined via telephone by Texas Congressman Ted Poe. Ted's chairman of the House Subcommittee on Terrorism and likewise is a member of the House Judiciary Committee, having served as a judge in a previous life. Also Skyping in this morning from the nation's capital, our good friend Michael Patrick Flanagan, who came to Congress with me back in 1995. Gentlemen, thanks to you both. Ted, let's begin with you. The administration is trying to rush this thing through the court system. Why, and what do you think is going to happen?
Well, they're trying to rush it through the system because they want the judge to change his mind, and the president wants to illegally, in my opinion, have grant his executive order amnesty, which I don't think down the road he's going to be successful in doing for several reasons. But one, this is in the judge's court in Brownsville, Texas. He's a federal judge. They'd asked for an emergency ruling. The judge will rule when the judge is ready. Now, these injunctions, the temporary injunction for permanent injunction, those rulings, the objection to the ruling, the reconsidering the ruling is what the judge is doing now. They don't take very long at all. But he is going to rule when he's ready to rule. Then this whole process will take, I think, several months before it ever gets to the Fifth Circuit in New Orleans before they make a decision on the federal judge's ruling. So contrary to what the administration wants, down the road, this ruling by the judge will take some time to be appealed by the Fifth Circuit. And they're just asking the judge, as does happen in these type of injunctions. The loser is asking the judge to reconsider right away. If they want to appeal, they'll have to appeal. But the Fifth Circuit will say to the administration, in my opinion, you can appeal as soon as the federal judge makes his final ruling on the temporary injunction. So,
Ted, do you think it's unless this gets granted, unless this becomes the state of affairs permanently, I know you chair the terrorism and a subcommittee. Is there any possibility that we have a lot of terrorism coming across the border, other than just the picture painted by the left of good and decent people looking for work? Are there really bad people trying to get into this country and using this route to do it?
Because of the president's lack of border security, contrary again to what they say, everybody's coming across, the good and the bad and the ugly. People all over the world know the way you get to the United States is come across the southern border. You get to Mexico, you come in, and it's everybody. They're stopping some, and we're not stopping others. Who gets by could be, in my opinion, anyone who wants to do us harm, and so that's the problem with the president's whole lack of border security. We're getting all people for all motivations. Those who want to come here to work, those seeking asylum, and those who want to do us harm, those who are criminal gangs who want to come into the United States. And we're getting people all those backgrounds coming across the southern border. So, yes, I think we're getting bad folks as well as we are other people.
Ted, I want to ask you, how long do you think that this is going to be tied up in the court system?
I think it'll be tied up for some time.
Weeks, months?
Months. Just my opinion, the ruling with the federal judge in South Texas, his ruling will take review by the Court of Appeals, Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals, several months.
Here's the challenge.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
Ted, 30 seconds left with trying to play this out in the courts. Is there a concern that this administration is just going to move full speed ahead on amnesty? 30 seconds.
the administration thinks the Constitution is a mere suggestion, so I wouldn't put anything past the administration. A president may do that, but this will take some time in the courts, the temporary injunction, then a permanent injunction, and that's the way I see it playing out, that it'll be permanent down the road.
So do you think he violated the Constitution? One word.
Well,
I tell you what,
Yes or
we'll
no?
let Ted answer that
I'll
on
let
the
you
other
answer that.
side. We're coming back with more on America's Forum.
You know, our Constitution is being shredded. We know about the secret wiretaps. We know about the secret military tribunals, the secret White House email accounts.
Shredding the Constitution and secret email accounts, that's Hillary Clinton, not from yesterday, but way back in 2007. The video tracked down by GatewayPundit.com with Miranda Kahn, J.D. Hayworth here.
And Mrs. Clinton has come under fire when reports of her using her private email while Secretary of State came out earlier this week.
Congressman Mike Pompeo of Kansas, who's on the House Select Committee on Benghazi, said that committee's known about private emails since August, but have been stonewalled by the State Department in gaining access.
Meanwhile, that review of her emails could drag on for months. Some are questioning that it may cloud the launch of her expected 2016 presidential bid even.
With all that in mind, let's continue our conversation now with United States Congressman Ted Poe of Texas. Ted is on the telephone, and likewise with us, my old congressional colleague Michael Patrick Flanagan, Skyping in from Washington. So, Ted, there's nothing funny about this, but as they used to say on an old sitcom, Hillary's got some splaining to do.
well, of course. And the whole purpose of the emails is for, there to be security in the government record, Freedom of Information Act, all of those things as far as federal emails go. And the real concern is that the emails are being difficult for the investigative committee to find them, because the Benghazi investigative committee is looking into what Hillary Clinton knew. And so that's the result of her hiding the emails in her private account, is that the public is not finding out exactly what happened or what she said about the Benghazi investigation. And once again, it's a situation where rules for thee, but not for me. And so Hillary Clinton doesn't want to follow the rules that she expects everybody else in the State Department to have followed. So a little bit hypocritical on her part, and we're now finding all of this out.
Hey, Ted, in Chicago, we got two flavors of Democrats. You got the machine Democrats who'll do anything on earth to win and don't care about the rules. And then you have dyed-in-the-wool, real live left-wing liberals who really have a history of despising corruption. It seems like the liberals are going after Hillary here more than the conservative sites in chasing this Benghazi thing. Are you kind of seeing a rift of that on the floor or in the Democratic caucus across the aisle?
Well, that's exactly true. This is not something of a concern just to Republican conservatives. You have Democrats speaking out about this as well, for the very reasons that you just mentioned. That it's an issue of integrity, corruption, all of those things, and there are people in both parties who don't like that. So you're seeing a little more bipartisan concern about the emails than maybe one would have thought.
Ted, I have a question for you. This is just something that we've been talking about here just in our own newsroom. Why did it take this long for people to realize that, hey, this isn't her, professional email, this is her personal email? Don't people notice email addresses? How could that have gone unnoticed for so long?
I don't know. I don't know that it went unnoticed. Maybe it did go noticed, but nobody ever said anything about it. But it is interesting how it's taken a long time for this. And the email chain on her private email apparently was for a long time as well. It wasn't just a sporadic. It was a system being used all the time. But it is interesting why it's taken a while.
Well, Ted, again, you're a former judge, and there are laws on the books about this, not only for Hillary, but anybody in the White House who got those emails and who knew about the account. And moreover, in terms of evidence, isn't the best thing for the former Secretary of State to do hand over the server that was in her house there that ran all these emails?
That's the whole point, JD. That she doesn't want to do that. She wants those emails to be filtered by her because of certain reasons. I think that she wants it filtered because she doesn't want certain emails to end up before that select Benghazi committee that is investigating this whole issue. But yes, the easy thing would be to turn over the server. But maybe she has an IRS server, that systematically self-destructs.
Ted, is it possible that Bill's got a lot of emails on this account, not just fundraising and other things that he's done, but maybe a Craigslist account or something that the dress wearing chief has there?
At a more serious note, listen, I've got one thing I got to get to, and that's at Gitmo. Ted, we're now hearing over 100 former detainees are back on the battlefield. What does this tell us about Gitmo? Last 20 seconds to you, Ted Poe.
We should not close Gitmo. These people were captured on the battlefield. The idea that we release them to allow them to go back and fight against Americans again is nutty. Those folks are people who are prisoners who've been trying to kill Americans and others. And the idea that the administration would just release a few here and there, I think, is just awful. Why take the chance
and we will have to thank
occur?
you, Ted. We're coming right back after this.